Alright, so I just wanted to show off this tool I've been working on for Cocos2d. And as you can see, it has animation feature, and you can import sprite sheets and turn them into animations that you can use in Cocos2d. And it's also a texture packer. So if I have this sprite sheet right here and I drag it in, as you can see, it packed them into a smaller space to make it more size efficient. And I can save the sprite sheet. I can save the plist of the sprite sheet, which saves all the little sprites within it into a file that Cocos2d can use. As you can see, it saves all of them. And you can also save a plist file with animations in it. But first you have to add animations, so I'm going to add a walk animation and just walk through it with you. Alright, I'll also add an idle animation. And so when you add animations, you can adjust the frame duration. She's just standing there, so I'm going to set it at 1000 milliseconds because she's not doing anything. And then I'll make her stand like this for a little while. And then I'm going to make her do something in her idle animation. And set the frame duration to 60. Alright, let's see how that looks. She's just standing there for 4 frames and then she does the animation. Looks pretty good. She snaps her finger, looks like. And she's walking. Let's see if we can make the walk animation look a little bit better. I'll set it to 80 milliseconds. And I set all the frame durations to 80 milliseconds by pressing set all frames. That looks better. Alright, now let's look back at her idle animation. She idles for a few seconds, then she snaps her fingers, but look at her feet in comparison to the anchor point. She does a little bit of moonwalk, when really this is just the idle animation and she's not supposed to be walking. And the reason that happens is because, as you can see, the anchor point here is right in between her feet, but on these sprites, the anchor point by default is set right in the middle of the sprite on the bottom. But for example, for some sprites you want to set the anchor point a little bit up. Like for these ones, because she's going to be walking, and if you have that anchor point set all the way down here, it's going to look like she's floating a little bit. So I'm going to move the anchor point up just a bit, and then copy Y to all, copy X to all. That's going to set the anchor point for all the sprites. So now she's going to be well above the ground for all the sprites, or well placed for all the sprites, so it's not going to look like she's floating up the ground anymore. But for these ones, these idle animations, as you can see, she's actually looks like she's a little bit too far forward. So I'm going to go through and fix that. And as you can see for these ones, she's holding her hand out, so that's why the sprite is not centered correctly. And now let's see how the animation looks now. Alright, as you can see, she's not floating backwards like she was before. She's more or less staying in the same spot in relation to this anchor while she's snapping. And So I've created these animations, I've edited the anchor points that I want to, and now I'm going to save the animations in a plist file. Save all these. And I can take these files and I'll place them in my game resources folder. And let's look at the idle animation. Alright, she's standing there just like we want. And she snaps her fingers just like the animation. And as you can see, the anchor points are all set correctly and her feet stay in the same spot pretty much while she's moving. And I can set multiple different animations. I get them out of the animation cache. Is it cache or is it cache? I don't know. So this time I'm going to get the walk animation that we made too and exported. Alright, look at that, it's working fine. And you can see it matches up pretty well with the preview there. Alright, my computer's lagging a bit, but yeah, it matches up pretty well with the preview there. And I'll post the GitHub to this in the description. And feel free to use it if you need to make any animations for Cocos2d with sprite sheets. And let me know if you find any bugs or anything, because I'll do my best to fix them.